Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim, this is the Restoration Couple, and in today's video we're finally going to get ourselves a shower. It's a mixer shower, but slightly different from what I've ever installed before. So you are learning with me, let's make a start. So over the past few years at the old house we fit 3 or 4 different showers, all of which happen to be MIRA, and so this time when we were fitting one here in the cabin we wanted to try something slightly different, but again stick with the brand, and we've actually partnered with them to collaborate on this video. So thank you to them for sponsoring this video. We've ordered a shower which I think is hopefully going to be a similar fit to what we've done in the past, but it's a different configuration from a normal bar mixer. You're learning with me on this one. This model is called a MIRA Opero, and as well as being a slightly different mixer module, the bit at the bottom, it's also black. That was our style for this bathroom, got black bits and bobs. And we're going to try different things out because of course when we get around to doing the big house build, we want to know what we're going to be using, both the brands, the types, and just generally the sort of quality of fixtures and fittings, because this is like our little test ground, this build. This is a dual shower, so it's got the one that goes up top. It's wall mounted, so nothing's coming through the ceiling, which means we can retrofit it pretty simply in this room. Remember, this is an over bath shower. In the future there'll all be walk-in showers, but you know, we're tight on space in this build, so that's what we're working with. Okay, so that looks like our mixer. Looks like we've got a plate to go on the wall, a tool. Oh, I'll come to that in a minute because that's good. That's good news. So first up, like I was saying, this is going over the top of a bath. So what that means is we've got nice access to everything we need to. So the first thing I need to check, which I had a little bit of a worry about this morning, is that I've got my cold on the right and hot on the left. These pipes coming through the wall need to be in copper. While we've used plastic elsewhere, I've put copper coming up here and 2 elbows soldered there to come through, and in our case we've only got a tiny little cavity inside here. It's not like a big deep stud wall. If it was a proper stud wall, then yes, you might be able to just push the last little bit of copper into a push fit, but in our case a soldered joint there, and we've left these long. We'll be cutting them back in a minute. Now I know you lot, you're probably hoping that this is going to go horribly wrong, but hopefully these should pop off. Now already I can tell we've got a bit of a problem. My pipes are not coming through perfectly level. There is a bit of wiggle room, but that just means I'm going to need to enlarge one of the holes a little bit. Okay, that is a definite plus of using this shower panel, because that was easy enough to just chip away a little bit there. There's a bit of give anyway, because I think my holes are probably 18mm. We've got 15mm pipes. I remember earlier on when I mentioned that this is a great little thing to find in there. It is. This is actually what I've always had to make up out of plywood. I don't think these are always supplied as standard with other showers. So this sets our spacing of 50mm between the centres of these pipes. Usually a bar mixer, which is what we've installed on 2 or 3 other occasions, these are 150mm apart. So of course it's easy enough to make a template up, but because this is being supplied, we know it is bang on. We'll take it nearly to the back. It means we can now get our level on, and like I said, we've got a bit of give in there. This kind of confirms that. It says you can fix this bracket to a stud or a noggin before you actually drill your pipe, so you put that on and then mark up. We're kind of just doing it to double check. It says we also want 150mm pipes sticking out. I think we're just about there with that. Right, next up we need this, which is the service installation aid. We're going to use that to set how far our pipes need to be cut off. Right, there's a little slot there, just in the middle of the gadget there. We're going to slide that on. Fat Sharpie's probably not the answer. Now the last thing you want to do now is hacksaw, because you're just going to get a rough cut on the edge and you want it to be nice and clean. So you want to use a pipe slice. If you haven't come across one of these, they are a must if you're cutting copper pipe. It's just super simple and it leaves a nice edge on it. With this one, which is a Rothenberger, when this is flat to the wall, it pretty much matches that mark. So we're going to cut that off. Now one thing to mention here is we've got a soldered joint in there, so these pipes can't twist, they're super solid. If you were using copper tails coming through, but they were into a push fit the other side, these can just freely rotate because that's just how the joints work. Now you obviously can't, you're twisting this to cut, so that wouldn't work. You'd need to hold this with grips, and that's one reason I guess why you really want to make sure there's enough pipe on here to hold. Put a lot of faith in the fact I've done that right now, haven't I? 19 millimeters plus or minus 2 mil from the wall. We're okay. These are smooth finish, but it curves in the edge of that copper. So I always try and just shave that off because you can get issues with that. Just scrape it off and make sure all the bits fall onto your nice clean bath. And we want to just seal up these holes. We've got that as a primary seal, and then our next bit that goes on will seal the wall to it anyway. So just a decent quality silicone, sanitary silicone. Let it cure for a few hours. Make a cup of tea. We might fast track that a little bit. Oh, we're back in the bathtub, coffee in hand. I'm not going to leave it to set completely because what I want to do is make sure that those bits of sealant set with our pipes perfectly level, because if I just let go of them they kind of come back down because they're not clipped really tight to hold them in that position, and I'd rather that they end up where they're meant to be. So the next bit is this, which is like the wall plate that goes on, and like I was saying earlier, this has got a really nice seal kind of gasket that goes against the wall anyway. I know because I put the pipes in intentionally this way, I've got battens exactly where these holes line up, which I could tell from the diagram several months ago, which helps. Right, first pack of fixings. These all look like they're nice stainless steel screws. Little disclaimer, at that point you're meant to flush it through, but there is absolutely no way I can do that, and I'm working on my own because my isolation valves are under there. I'm not sure I could do that and not, well, I could trickle it out I guess. I think we're good. There was only the tiniest bit there and I've sucked it out. So we're good now. We can get on to the next bit, which is greasing and valves. Some little retaining rings and nuts. Get them in the pipes in the orientation shown. So that's these little washers, these brass nuts, look at this. This is where design comes into play, isn't it? Look, that same little gadget hand tightens these. Genius. And it looks like it's still got something in the bag for us. These ends do something as well. Right, hand tighten. Good. Triple check we're level. Alright, now we're on to what looks like the brains of it. This is a nice looking bit of engineering. It's weighty. So we've got a hot and cold, blue and red, which is handy. So when this seats on, it says we need to pre-grease these seals. So in here, this black O-ring is what seals to our copper pipe. So we've made sure that our copper pipe is nice and clean on the outside and inside. And now we need to get in here and use this little sachet of grease. Alright, quick lens change. Now you should be able to see what's going on in detail. So pretty straightforward. We've got a hot and cold blue, red. It should. I think they said there might be a light on it, but I was not told, well, when I looked at least, I wasn't made aware of any power supply needed. So maybe it's using the heat of a shower or something. Like one of those fans you get on a stove, that's just heat powered. The other shower that we installed in the ensuite at our last house was a MIRA digital shower. Now that did have an electric supply because the box that did all the mixing was up in a cupboard away from the shower. So all you had is just a head on the wall, and we had it was a dual shower. One thing we haven't mentioned is the height. I had to kind of guess this because I don't think there is a specific height for the controls. And of course we were in a bath and I had to kind of guess everything. So it'd be interesting to hear if any of you have a specific height you put your bar mixer or your, in this case, the central mixer from the floor level. We've got an overhead shower as well, so I needed to take into account the fact that this top piece, this shower head, you know, luckily we're not too tall, this shower head has to be a certain distance from the ceiling. I think it's 50 mil, so we're definitely more than that, but that almost sets your height of the control. So it's worth mapping it all out because you want to make sure you've got all your supports in the wall for where you're fixing any brackets to. Well, the box is getting lighter, which means we must be getting closer to getting everything on. Also, more circuit board stuff in there. I'm getting nervous now that I'm meant to have put a supply in. There's no actual mechanical switch to switch over from, you know, normally you have like a knob or a valve that changes from the wall shower to the overhead shower. This one is just buttons, which maybe is what those contacts are on there. But how it changes the valves without power, just saying there, 3 volt DC. Do we need a battery? Just because I don't want to be taking this off to have another look. If we get this right, we shouldn't have to take it off again. So let's have a little look at all these functions in here and see if we can work out how it is going to work before we put this together. As it stands, when this goes on, this contact here and this yellow one here are activated by these buttons, which are not, they don't click and stay. These 2 prongs here, these 2 contacts, which are connected to this copper plate which is on the valve itself, which I'm guessing from my non-mechanical mindset that that's some sort of heat thermo something or other, which is going to give a really low voltage power supply to this LED or ring around here. Top on first, clicks on the bottom. Next job, we're going to sort out this valve in the bottom here. I've got a little O-ring there, it's got to go over this connector. Such a clever little thing. We still don't know what it does on this end though. Now we put the control knob on, we've got to make sure that this button's on top and also it says top on there, and we should all be good. Well done team, we've officially passed stage 1 of DIY shower install. So that's on. We've just got 2 connections. We've got the one that goes up and the one that comes around. So we're going to get on and fit those. I know, like I was saying, I've got a nice batten right in the centre here that goes all the way up. Right, that looks like our lower arm, or a tin whistle. Right, we can't just go ahead and pick where we're going to put the wall bracket. We have to get this kind of loosely fitted first, I guess, because it's dictated by this bit here, which has a grub screw to hold it on. Then that can go on. And I've pushed this one all the way to the top, which hopefully means I can get a level in there. No, I can't. Ah, wait a minute. Slide that up, then we can get it on. Okay, make sure that's seated down. Now it's not that I don't trust my spirit level, but I always like to kind of step back and have a look to make sure it looks right as well. I mean, our walls should be, yeah, they're bang on, so it should look right. Oh. Okay, so we can put them in now. Be nice if we'd already done our extractor fan. Now we need the grub screw to make sure all this doesn't come falling off the wall. Well, I've got another hot topic for debate now. I'm going to say well done to MIRA for not including an Allen key. Because everything you buy, we put curtain rails up and blinds up and we ended up, I think, with 12 Allen keys. And what do you do with them? You only need one, maybe two, one backup. It's just so much. I wonder how many Allen keys go into landfill. Anyway, luckily I've got a bit here, so I'm just going to wind that in. Of course, if you don't have an Allen key, then an included one is quite useful, but I think most of us have probably got enough kicking around. Should have fitted that fan. Silly boy, Tim. Right, well, now we're on to the big stuff. So this is the main shower head, that's the one up top, and what I've done is put the flow restrictor in, and it's optional, but it says, I'll read it because it makes more sense. But if you've got high pressure, i.e. anything over 0.5 bar here, which that's what it says, which is basically most people, I guess, you can install the flow regulator. It's just a little purple plastic insert which goes between your O-ring or the little rubber washer and the shower head, and the benefits of that, just say it's going to kind of maintain a more even flow, reduce noise and unstable supply temperature, and cooler outlet temperatures due to colder seasons. So it's going to reduce the risk of that, and actually that does make a huge difference, especially in this setup where you've got more of a combi type setup. The flow temperature is quite different times of year, or it can be. That's a fair old shower. So go to flipping Wimbledon. Woo! It's not that heavy, but there's a fair bit of leverage coming off the wall, so you want to make sure that back wall plate is strong. I think we should still be okay, but what it suggests is putting all those bars together first, seating them all together, fitting them to the wall, and then winding that big head on. I've just got to come down a little bit more. There we go. It's all in the grease. And what we did on the last one, we had one of these, or a similar sort of, I think it was the Atom shower, and that was a dual one like this. And we found that because we had it over the bath in the family bathroom, we just tilted this back just by a couple of degrees, just so it wasn't gonna get out and around the enclosure or around the shower screen. Last little bit now is to go ahead and fit the hose. So I'll do that, and then we'll commission. Right folks, we are nearly there. Until we press go, we don't really know if we've done it right, but hopefully we followed this along okay. The only thing I haven't mentioned is that if you want to do any fine tuning, i.e. making the regulation of the temperature different, you have to go inside that and remove like a couple of those little teeth, the cogs, and that basically means that you can get it hotter than the standard. There's that safety button anyway, but we'll see. Let's have a look. And I've also worked out what our final little use of this tool is. The other end is actually for pushing in to take off that knob and getting in and doing the fine adjustments. So apart from that, we're all good to commission. Where's it on? I wasn't expecting it to be on yet. Button was pressed on. Alright, let me open it all the way up now. So they're both opened up fully, those isolators. Right, let's work out how these contact switches work. Oh! This button setup though is really responsive, like it's quick as well. Straight up. It's instant. Still I don't understand how it works, but... And then, this might be common knowledge, but this shower head seems to be different. I've never had one like this before. Normally you twist it to change the patterns. This has got a little button on it. So we're all good. Joe's here for the big preview.
It looks amazing.
It's good, isn't it?
Power.
But this light here, so there's no electric, but or battery or anything. But that ring's meant to light up. I don't know if it does it maybe just when it gets to temperature.
It's pulsing.
So it's all well and good getting to this point, showing the install, showing it commissioned, but you know, all these fancy steamy adverts, they never show it in use with a normal, regular homeowner. So it's your lucky day. Okay, the dog is finally clean. We're a few weeks on now and we've been using the shower, and we actually went away on holiday and left family here to watch the farm and they were using it, so no problems as far as the shower itself. It's been well tested, yeah. The light, I mean the light is really clever because basically you're not stood waiting for a cold shower to get warm. You press the button, go and get your towel ready or whatever. As soon as you see the solid light, you know it's ready. So that's quite clever, and obviously no battery, no power leads or anything like that to worry about. It just is what it is, so that's cool. So we had a few comments when we installed the taps about the fact that they're black and they might show up limescale and never look clean. We haven't really found that. It's a case of probably needing a water softener anyway, but even if you had a chrome or a brass or a gold shower, anything's going to show those little splodges afterwards. So it's just a case of spraying down and keeping them clean. And I think we definitely go with black again. It's smart, ties in with everything, and it's a really nice hard wearing finish. We'd also like to hear from you guys on what showers you use and have installed and what you prefer over the others. We've always had MIRA and really like them, so I'm pleased we were able to work with them on this video. And I think we go a similar route again, whether it's the bar mixers or this type, or maybe an in-wall one that's hidden. We haven't done that before. So we want to keep things quite clean and easy to maintain. So a lot hidden in the wall might be quite nice with an access panel behind. Anyway, lots of options, and of course, if you haven't heard already, in the next year or two there's going to be a lot of house building and a lot of showers and bathrooms and stuff going in. So thank you again to MIRA for sponsoring this video. If you want to find out more info, we'll put their link down in the description, along with a couple of other shower videos that we've done in the past, and you can head over and see how we got on back then when we had more hair, less kids, and far simpler life. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.